Germany warns Russia that it will pay a price if it enters Ukraine.
Here's a summary of the article.
Paris. Germany's foreign minister warned Russia on Thursday that it would pay a high political and economic price if it makes any militaristic moves against neighboring Ukraine. Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock emphasized the need to coordinate a common European position when dealing with hostile neighbors such as Russia, which has amassed troops near the border with Ukraine. The territorial integrity and sovereignty of Ukraine aren't up for negotiation for us, Baerbock said in Paris while making her first foreign trip, a day after taking office. Russia would pay a high political and economic price for a renewed breach of Ukraine's statehood, Baerbock told reporters during a joint news conference with French Minister for Europe and Foreign Affairs Jean-Yves Le Drian. The French foreign minister spoke shortly after French Education and Sports Minister Jean-Michel Blanquer said Paris would not join such a boycott. Sports is a world in itself, which must be protected from political interference, otherwise, we can end up by killing the competition, Blanquer said on French news channel BFM TV. During the wide-ranging news conference with her French counterpart, Baerbock stressed that the sexual assault allegations made by Chinese tennis player Peng Shuai against a former Communist Party official should be taken seriously. If a woman makes such allegations, then they should be heard, including internationally, said Baerbock, who is Germany's first female foreign minister.
This post received a score of 44,000, with an upvote ratio of 93%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
The best way to make Russia pay a price is to not make Europe dependent on Russian gas.
The Greens, which she is part of, are actually against the Russian gas deals. So it's a coherent argument IMO. Also, the Gov just got into power the other day. But we will see how this might play out.
It's cool that you guys have people from different parties in positions of government.
Casual WW3 to end out 2021.
Or start 2022. Everyone is getting tense because when Russia snatched Crimea, they did it during the Winter Olympics, using the event as a distraction. Everyone is worried they'll do the same again, using the threat of cutting off Europe's gas and oil as the stick to keep Europe and the rest of NATO from interfering. Winter is when Russia likes to do this crap as their leverage is strongest then.
They did 2008 Georgia during the Olympics as well.
What can we say? Vlad is competitive. He just wants the gold in war.
It's not Vlad, it's Volodya or Vova.
I prefer Vulva Putin.
That's an insult to vulvas.
Yeah, vulva are pretty tough.
The world is saying, go ahead, take Ukraine, but it will cost you money, just like any property purchase.
Which is kind of effective to some extent because that same money is necessary for Russia's expansionist approach. You can't expand without resources and Russia isn't overflowing with them. Making something more costly than what it can return is a sound concept, it's not ideal. But when the nation on hand can literally nuke the planet, that comes with some command.
Yeah, totally. I just for some reason never thought of sanctions this way. It's like instead of viewing it as punitive damages, it's more like a price that you have to be willing to pay to get what you want. I guess the question for Putin is what is his price on Ukraine, or rather, is there even one?
I'm sure Putin has a price where he'd abandon Ukraine, but it's probably very high. Which civil unrest in a country with nukes is not a safe situation either, so that's something nations have to consider when determining the cost they will impose. So it may be best to impose just enough of a cost that they can keep going, but also not accomplish any truly significant progress. This way you can keep a nation locked up and in a state where the world leaves them behind, at least long enough until they can find better solutions.
Good assessment, thumbs up. Interesting to see what comes.
Russia will chunk off a piece of eastern Ukraine. NATO will sanction parts of the Russian economy, and draw a new red line, slightly different from the last red line. Russia will still function because it can easily sell to other countries. Ukraine is not a NATO member, therefore no country is willing to stake its citizens on their defense. No World War III, just a quiet slide back into everyday business with some bumps and bruises.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.